everybody, it's Alana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited for today's video. I've always wanted to film one of these. If you read the title, then you already know. Today I'm doing a what I read in November. I was on a really big reading kick last month for some fucking reason, but I loved it. I read 7 books last month. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on, but I was just on a reading kick. I'm filming this video super late. I already know. It's already December 14th. I should have been filmed and uploaded this video, but besides the point, it's now December. I haven't read one book in December, okay? I want to film these videos every month. Like, I want to actually read more. I tried to read another book and I just like couldn't get through it. I think I was just all read out. This is a lot of books to read in a month. I know that people read more, but 7 books for me is crazy. I was a really big reader as a kid with like a big bookshelf full of books and I would read all the time. But you know, I got a little older. I still love to read. I just don't do it as much. You know, I'm busy. I work. I pay bills. I try to do social media even though I don't be doing it as much as I should. And sometimes picking up a book can be a little bit difficult. It's definitely a New Year's goal is to read more. I want to do a like whole reading challenge thing. I have all my 7 books here. I'm honestly going through each one, telling you guys the rating, what I thought about it. I did put it in my Goodreads. You guys can follow my Goodreads. My little profile I have like my want to read and then like my recently read books. I try to rate all my books on Goodreads and put, you know, why I liked it, why I didn't, all that fun stuff. It's been almost half of a month since I've read these books. It's been like a month for some of the books that I have read, so it might take me a second to like remember what happened, but yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Book number 1. Are you kidding me? You know, there's probably some readers watching this video like, what the fuck? That book is so old. I know. Let me tell you guys, this movie is literally my #1 favorite movie. Like, nothing has topped it yet, and I've never read the book. I don't know why. I just never read the book, okay? I always just happen to watch the movies before books because sometimes I don't know or I don't realize that there are books first, and that's also another goal of mine, to start reading books before watching movies or shows, just because it's definitely a better experience. But anyways, back to the book review. This was the first book I read of the month. I actually started this October 31st, but I finished it November 1st, so I just decided just to count this. I actually gave this 4 stars. The exact review I left on Goodreads is, I watched the movie before the book, this emoji, and I said it was still good, and then I said it definitely makes you realize how much they changed in the movies. Personally for me, and this could be because the movie is already my #1 favorite movie, but I did like the movie more than the book. Don't kill me, okay? I think it's just because, one, like I said, I've watched the movie so many times, I could literally quote the movie, but also they just changed so much in the movie. They missed a lot of points in the movie that were in the book. I feel like a lot of movies do that though, like they just kind of fly by really good parts. They're not necessarily like important parts, but they're just really good, and the movie did that. Like, a lot of things in the book were actually very different in the movie, so I think reading this book was kind of like, what? Because I'm used to the movie, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's why this book was a little weird for me, but it definitely was very nostalgic, very sad. You guys know this book movie is so sad. If you've never seen the movie, like, you need to go watch it. It's really good. Also, Shailene Woodley is like my favorite actress, so her just playing Hazel, oh my god, I forgot her name. Her playing Hazel just made it so much better. But yeah, this was a good read. I love John Green books, and yeah, I don't know why it took me so long to read this, but I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read is Look Closer by Stuart Lewis. This was definitely not one of my favorites this month. I gave this 3 stars. Honestly, now that I think back, I definitely would probably give this like 2 stars. A lot of the ratings that I gave in November are very like sugar-coated. Now, like after like, you know, the book's kind of settled, I just did not like this book. I got this like at Goodwill. I always find books like at thrift stores. It seemed very interesting. The back of the book seemed interesting. I'm not spoiling it, I'm just reading the back of the book. It says Tegan's father died while serving overseas. She's been numb ever since. She quit the swim team. Her best friend wasn't in town. She just basically like wasn't really doing anything for herself. One morning, random letters are underlined on a cereal box. They spell a name, and then she ends up finding out that later that day, the name that she did see, the person died or committed suicide, and she just keeps seeing these names. So yeah, basically her whole like purpose in the book is like finding the person's name that she saw and then like saving them. It was definitely well written, and it wasn't a terrible book. It was just super repetitive for me. Also, I wrote in my Goodreads review that a lot of the things go unanswered, which is like really what gets me. I understand there are books where it's like you don't really get the answers, which is okay in some ends, But like with this one, it was like certain important things. Like for example, the boy that she met in the book, like the love interest, they met really fast. Like they met, I think like the same day or like the day after like the first name popped up, and then like they immediately were like in each other's faces. Like they immediately kissed like the next day, and then also like he just gave me really weird vibes. He was very mysterious. You didn't really get any backstory on him, and I felt like he was gonna be like a bad guy almost, and like nothing even happened with him, which it's not that I was expecting it. He just gave me weird vibes, and it didn't really answer that part. And then with how it's repetitive, literally it would be her like going about her normal day, then she would find a name, then she would text the boy, and then she would go find the person, and then they'd be saved. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of hoping like she wouldn't be able to save one of them, or like it'd be like something, just something different. It wasn't very different. Yeah, and then there was like a slight plot twist at the end, which I thought like if the plot twist would have went through, I feel like I would have rated it better, but it didn't, and it just ended up being the same repetitiveness that I just don't like. So yeah, I'm sorry, Stuart Lewis. I did give this 2 stars, or 3 stars, but I gave it 2 stars. Not terrible, just not my favorite. Okay, the next book, y'all. This book right here, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Who is this? Holly Jackson. This fucking book, y'all, I gave this 5 stars. Honestly, I would give this like 6 stars if I could. This was one of the best books I've ever read. I don't know why I've never picked up a murder mystery book. I'm so into murder mysteries. I literally watch Bailey Sarian. If you even know that name, then you just know. Like, if you know, you know. I love murder mysteries, and this was literally the perfect book for me. So like certain chapters are like 3rd person point of view, and then other chapters are 1st person point of view, so that kind of helped it. If it was all 3rd person, I probably wouldn't be too invested in it, but it still was super good. Just like in any murder mystery, like this had so many plot twists. It literally made your brain turn. Like I could not put this book down. In my Goodreads review, I said I can't stand a predictable book, and this was not it. And I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. I really want the last 2 books. I think it's 2 more books after this. I was honestly gonna buy all 3 whenever I bought this one, but I was like, let me just buy the first one just to see, because I have a habit of like buying a whole series and then me not even end up liking the first book, and then it just kind of, it's just like a waste of time, waste of money, you know? And just the ending like is so unpredictable. Like you would have never thought. It's just speechless. I can't really talk about things in the book without me spoiling it. So like if you're into murder mysteries and you want a good book to read, get this book. Shout out to Haley Fan because she put me on this. The next book I read is The Cellar by Natasha Preston. I did find this at Goodwill, and the only reason why I bought it, just because her being a Wattpad author just like really brought like nostalgia to me, and it actually made me download Wattpad again. Most of my readers know Wattpad is just where it's at. I used to read One Direction and MagCon ones. I can't with that. Anyways, this was very good. I gave this 4 stars. Basically, this book is about a girl that gets kidnapped. Her name is Summer. I know that she's in high school. She might be a senior, so I think she might be 18, but basically she just gets kidnapped. Each chapter is like a different point of view, which I also like. Most of it is through Summer's point of view. There's also her boyfriend. I actually read this in one day. I started it November 5th and I finished it November 5th. Most of these books I finished in a day, or like I started at night and finished in the morning. It was very addicting timeline. I wasn't really a fan of Lewis's point of view, which Lewis is her boyfriend. I do understand it does give you like an outside point of view of things that were going on away from Summer and like how they were like finding her and stuff, but he was just like kind of annoying. He wasn't like my favorite character. He did care about Summer, which is great. You know, he was not giving up on finding her. Those chapters though, like Lewis's chapters, were just so long. I just really wanted to be like where Summer was, make sure she was good, see what was happening to the other girls. And I also, they did put chapters in of the kidnapper, which I did like because it gave it a little backstory about him. The only difference with this is it's basically like the kidnapper like took care of the people that he would kidnap. He like based them off of flowers. Like he just wanted a perfect family basically, but he took care of them. Like he made sure they were clean. He gave them like places to sleep. They had like the cellar that they were in was like really nice. They had like a kitchen. That was a good book. I like that one a lot. Next book. Oh, it's upside down. It Starts With Us. I love this book. I actually did give this 5 stars. I feel like a lot of people were underwhelmed with this book. Underwhelmed? Is that the right word? Okay. I read It Ends With Us back in August of last year. I remember I read it on the way to Vegas. I do have a Vegas vlog on my old channel, I think. I actually gave the first book only 4 stars, I think. Just because, you know, whenever people really hype up books on TikTok, it can be very underwhelming at times. The book was super good. It talked about very like specific topics that are like very heavy in society. Whenever I saw that this was out, I literally went and bought it. My Gpaw actually bought it for me. Shout out to Gpaw, but I really like this book, and I would say it's safe to say I like this book better than the first one. This book just showed more of Atlas's point of view, which is what everyone wanted. This is literally what I put as my review. I loved this book more than the first, just because it was showcasing Atlas a lot more and Ryle a lot less. Perfect with this emoji. The blushing one? Yeah. Obsessed with the character Atlas. Oh my god, I almost said Alice. Anyways. Atlas is like the picture perfect guy in a book, and it's just so cute. Like this book, it's just like, aw. The first book is more like, oh my god, like it's kind of dark. This one is just like very much happiness, very cute. It was just a good book. It was a good read. Oh my god, we only have 2 books left. The next book. This is The Marriage Pact by Michelle Richmond. This was a book that I rated 2 stars. I think I'm pretty set on 2 stars. I don't want to give it 1 star because I did finish it. I might actually give it 1 star. This book was just so hard to get into, and it could have been my reading kick kind of declining, but oh my god, it was just so slow. It was so hard to start. This book is about Alice and Jake. They like just got married, and they got like invited into this thing called the Marriage Pact. This book kind of gives me Don't Worry Darling vibes. If you saw that movie, like then you know. It wasn't necessarily like a stimulation, but they got put in this like really weird like pact. I don't know, it was like damn near a cult almost, and like they had very specific rules, and if you broke the rules then they like brought you to like jail, and they would literally like punish you. I don't know. I feel like this could have had a lot of potential with that. I love movies and books like that, but this was just so weird. It wasn't getting to the point in time. The book is in Jake's point of view, and he's like a therapist, and there was these weird chapter breaks where he would talk about like facts about marriage, like couples, like therapist facts. I guess it did go in the storyline because he was a therapist, but I was like, what? Let's just say, for example, Alex would get taken, right? And you're like, oh my god, I want to know what happens next. You flip to the next chapter, and he's like, studies show that 70 million blah blah blah, and you're like, what? I personally wasn't a fan. The ending was super underwhelming too. Like, ugh. I was very close to closing the book down, but I was really trying to, you know, when I pick up a book, finish it. Like, I'm really just trying to do it. The last book I read in November was They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. November 15th through the 17th. So this was the last book I read of the month. I did try to read another book. I never finished it. What did I try to read? I think I tried to read Paper Towns by John Green, but I think I read that book and my reading kick was over. I just couldn't. I gave this 4 stars. I actually read this book, or I tried to read the book back when I first got it. I think I got it like sometime last year or something, and I never finished it. That's like something that I would do like before. I would like pick up a book and I would be really determined to read it, and I would read like this much, and then I would end up never picking it up again. This was a really good book. I really liked it. It was so cute. I like how every chapter was a different point of view. Mateo and Rufus, they would switch between their point of views, and it was first person. But if they would throw in somebody else that was in the story, it'd be third person point of view, but it was still very good. Most of it was the first person point of view between Mateo and Rufus. This did make me tear up. I don't think I've ever bawled my eyes out and cried to a book. I've read only a handful of books can really make my eyes water, and this was one of them. They actually released the sequel. I was gonna buy it the day that I bought A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I still hadn't read this at the time, so I was like, okay. Or was it a prequel? I don't remember. But anyways, I was like, let me read the book before I go buy the other book, you know? Also, just it being like an LGBTQ book, I love it. It's like, it's my favorite. It's just adorable. If you've never even heard about this book, in the world that they live in, there's a thing called Death Cast, and they call you the day that you're gonna die, basically. And they say, like, you have 24 hours before your death, blah, blah, blah. And that's all they tell you. They don't tell you how. They don't tell you exactly when. They just say in the next 24 hours you could die. That's like, what the freak? Like, imagine getting that call. I just sat there the whole time and I was like, what if like somebody were to call me and be like, hi, in the next 24 hours you're gonna die. Okay, bye, thanks. I'd literally be like, what the fuck? Okay, that's all the books I read in November. I feel like this isn't really gonna be the best video because there's people that read like fucking 15 books in 1 month, but this is a pretty good pile for me, a pretty good stack. You probably won't get a what I read in December because I haven't read any books unless in the next couple weeks I like really crank out some books. But I doubt, well, I wouldn't say I doubt it, because I read like, I think like these 5 in like a day. If you really want me to try to crank out a what I read in December, let me know ASAP so I can just start reading. It probably will only be like 3 books, but if you still want a video, let me know and I'll do it. Shout out to Book Talk for giving me all these recommendations, and Haley fam. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. I definitely want to post more like reading content as well. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment any video requests down below. I'd love to do them for you guys. All my social media is in the description. Also, from the last video, my Depop shop is now live. You can go buy my clothes. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.